Vincent. Welcome at Private Kitchen. Nice to have you here. And
Thanks for having me.
you're, of course, one of the founders of a world-leading sample library company, ProjectSAM. I'm just wondering about future developments in the sample business. And, if things with physical modeling, do you see a possible combination with sample in the future? Or is it more just improving the interfaces because the sample libraries tend to get more and more complex, finding your way as a composer for all these possibilities. How do you do it? Can you say something about it? Can you reflect a bit about possible future developments?
Well, the interesting thing is, back in 2005, we were at the Frankfurter Messe and also on the NAMM show, and there was this guy from Wallander Instruments, and you also had this Sinful orchestra, and we were flabbergasted by, wow, if a physical modeling orchestra in 2005 can already do this, then in 5 years we're out of business. We were convinced that in 2010 or 12, physical modeling would be all over, and because it's so sexy to just have a whole orchestra in 70 MB. Yeah. And theoretically the amount of expression and things to be gained from physical modeling is endless. So we were convinced that the future was physical modeling, or at least the collaboration between sampling and. But yet here we are in 2021 now, and of course there are good examples of well-programmed libraries with sampling, and also. I'm not sure if it's physical modeling, but a good marriage, a good hybrid library between synthesis and sampling. But the core is still sampling, and I think the reason for that is it's very complicated to get a beautiful, realistic orchestral tone with physical modeling. So yeah, it's hard to it's always hard to predict the future. I mean, we plan a year ahead and not further, because also the changes in the market are very rapid. So another string library comes out, and it would be nice if physical modeling, because it gives the composers so much more control and expression, if that works out well. We'll probably miss that boat because we haven't started physical modeling programming yet. So, at this point, I think sampling still is by far the best choice for a good realistic sound.
The interface is probably a topic that can be developed more because due to the complexity of the sample libraries, because there are so many samples and expressions, ways of expression in the library, so it's hard to find your way through it and use it in a hopefully simple way.
I mean, in the beginning, it was really simple in Contact. You just dragged a few samples in, and you didn't even need to do graphical work because But nowadays you're programming a front end to a database. That's basically how we see it. You have this database full of articulations, dynamics, and the front end needs to be very simple because you're making music, and you don't want to be bored with difficult queries, to use the analogy. So I think we're still learning every day how to make it simpler and easier for a composer to interact with this huge database of samples.
Because you also have composed, I don't know whether you still compose yourself, but you...
I do, yeah, but mostly for myself. So,
but you still also use the sample libraries yourself, so
absolutely,
you can also gain from your own experience.
Definitely, yeah. I also I look a lot at music technology development, basically because I've been hooked on it ever since I did our splendid education at Hogeschool Utrecht. So I have a lot of interest in all the plugins and libraries that come out.
And do you see any developments with other sample libraries that frighten you or raise your interest or surprise you, or is it all? Are everybody's doing the same, going the same direction? All the
I don't have a lot of that sounds funny maybe, but I don't have a lot of libraries from the competitors. I'm not really the orchestral composer guy. And also we're not really frightened because it's just inspiring, you know. The market is, we still feel that the market is big enough, and it just pushes everybody to make better products. So I don't really see it as competition. You know, obviously the thing you see is that developers start releasing their own platforms, and instead of licensing from, for example, Native Instruments or UVI or Hellion, developers start making their own platforms for obvious reasons. And I'm not sure if that's a good development. We have to see in 10 years, because every composer now has to learn new platforms, and obviously it also has some nice advantages having your own platform.
So it will. Do you also see still improvement or development in the samples themselves? Will there be more and more articulations, depending on the instrument, of course, but. Or is it mainly the interface that will be improved, so you get an easier, more simpler?
Well, you see sizes increase as well, obviously because of more dynamics and more included microphones, etc. But I think it's good if that reaches a limit, because you know nobody's waiting for 1,000 gigabyte, 10, 20 microphones controllable. You know, it's not a point of having a good tone. We still gain new insights in how we can make something sound realistic by recording enough articulations and making it easily accessible in the front end.
Does it also involve transitions between different notes? Because there's a lot of that's an interesting area, of course, because you have the notes themselves in all the ways of all kind of articulations, but the transition between two notes in a musical line, is that an area to expect developments in the future, do you think?
I think that has been investigated enough nowadays. I think in 10 years ago that was very hot to look into the transitions. I think now most of the developers are aware of this, so I don't expect a whole lot from this.
Okay, so the future will be still sample based, looking 1 year ahead at least.
Well, like I said, I mean, we don't plan so far ahead, and we expected in 2005 to have to have physical modeling taken over the sampling market, but yet here we are.
Yeah, I remember that moment indeed. That was the whole new thing, and everything would become different. And,
exactly.
Indeed, still here we are.
Yeah.
Okay, thanks a lot for sharing your insights in the future of the sample library. And
thanks for having me.
Yeah, see you again. Bye bye.
Bye bye. Bye.